My beloved child, you have gone through too many days without realizing that I have been trying to awaken you. This is no longer a gentle reminder, it is the final warning from heaven. A foreign presence has stepped onto the threshold of your home, not knocking, only lurking because it knows the entrance is no longer guarded as it once was. You have very little time to turn back before the damage rushes through every crack you have forgotten to seal with my word. I see your house trembling, but not because of storms. It shakes because those who once claimed to love you are now tapping gently on each foundation stone with envious eyes. Jealousy has entered uninvited because you forgot to close the smallest door, the door of vigilance. And now your house is not merely cold, it is fracturing from the very places you once believed were secure. No one wakes up one morning and decides to betray. Jealousy doesn't begin with swords and spears, it begins with a glance. It starts in a fleeting moment when someone sees joy in you and quietly thinks, "Why not me?" From there a whisper is sown into the heart, and if not guarded, it will take root in the shadows. Souls no longer turned toward me are easily drawn into the swamp of comparison, which turns them into instruments of destruction. Your house, your very life, has become a target, not because it is weak, but because I am about to raise it up before many. There are those who once vowed to guard the threshold of your home, but now they whisper in rooms you were never invited into. They smile before you, but in the shadows they nod in agreement with the enemy. Their loyalty is neither to me nor to you. I warned you, learn to discern true warmth from hands that hide a blade. When a house is being prepared to host my glory, it becomes a target under siege, and it is often the ones you trust most who become the openings the destroyer awaits. You think you are being pushed out, but in truth I am drawing you in deeper with me, further away from all that is false. I have allowed your house to shake, not to destroy it, but to strip away every stone that does not belong to me. The plotters will be exposed, the snares will be broken, and the very pressure you are enduring will become the new foundation for a life set apart. I have not withdrawn my hand from your house. I am rebuilding it with what cannot be stolen. And when I am finished, no one will dare stand at your threshold without trembling. My beloved child, do not let the chaos around you cause your heart to fear. I know it feels like everything is slipping from your grasp, relationships fractured, lies spreading, and schemes hiding in the shadows. But lift up your head, for I am still here. I have never abandoned your house, no matter how tilted it may appear to the world. You are seeing through the eyes of the flesh, but I want you to learn to see through faith, where you will find my hand still resting on every stone in your life. I am the Alpha and the Omega. Nothing escapes my gaze or my command. You've heard whispers behind your back, felt the eyes following you in silence. But these things are not hidden from me, child. I see every secret word, every motive buried in another's heart, every seemingly harmless nod laced with betrayal. I do not look away. I do not close my eyes. As it is written, nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Everything is uncovered and laid bare before the eyes of Him to whom we must give account. Hebrews 4:1-3. They think they act in the dark, but my light pierces to the marrow. You don't need to protect yourself with your own strength. I have not left your house unguarded. My angels surrounding you have not slept. Even if your walls appear thinner and your heart has opened to weariness and doubt, I have not withdrawn my hand from you. There are moments I allow you to feel the trembling, not to break you, but to teach you to root yourself deeply in me, not in fleeting things. Do not mistake my silence for absence, beloved. I am working in the quiet, tending every detail, every foundational stone invisible to the natural eye. There are things being formed against you. People are laying traps, planning injustice, crafting accusations of which you are not yet aware, but they will not succeed unless I permit it. Remember this: no weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. Isaiah 5:4-17. Not because you are strong enough, but because I have sealed your house, your life, and the purpose I've placed in you with my holiness. I want peace to reign in your heart, even while the winds still blow. Do not measure the storm by its strength, but by the steadiness of my hand holding you. No person, no force can touch what I have set apart unless it serves my purpose to build you even stronger. You are not a victim. You are my chosen one. And no scheme, no matter how subtle, can shake what I have established in the light. My beloved child, envy never knocks loudly. It does not appear as an obvious enemy, but like a gentle breeze passing through the mind in a moment when you happen to see someone praised and your heart wavers. It begins with the smallest things, a glance, a compliment, a success someone else receives that you have silently longed for. And if you are not awake, what seemed harmless will root itself deeper with each passing day. That is how the enemy works. It doesn't destroy at once. It only needs to plant one crooked seed in an unguarded heart. I have said from the beginning, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it. Genesis 4:7. Envy is a part of that sin. It hides behind a facade of righteousness, as if you're only seeking fairness, but your heart has begun to compare. And if you do not master it, it will master you. That is what happened to Cain. He could not rejoice when I regarded his brother, and from a simple comparison he lost his clarity. Eventually, sin turned his heart into the first refuge for spilled blood. That is not just an old story, it is a warning for every generation. My child, the enemy is patient. It is never in a hurry. It knows that envy doesn't need much time to destroy, as long as it is watered in silence, secrecy, and unconfessed feelings. When it takes root in a heart, it breeds bitterness. From there, words become sharp, actions become false, and the soul drifts farther from truth. Friendships fall not from differences, but from hearts no longer pure. The enemy knows that if it can cause one believer to envy another, it need not attack from outside. The insiders will finish the work themselves. I did not build my church for competition, but to reflect my image together. Yet a community without purity in the heart will have no strength in the spirit realm. Therefore you must guard the doorway of your heart. If someone causes you to feel overlooked, come to me before going to them. Do not let envy distort how you see one another. Remember, I see the motive before the action. And when you choose forgiveness, when you choose to rejoice for another, you shatter the most subtle scheme darkness has ever crafted. My beloved child, you have looked around and asked in silence, why have I become a target? I heard that question from the deepest, most hidden place within your heart. But my child, understand this. Those without a calling never face the pressure you are enduring. You are not merely under attack, you are on a divine assignment. Every shaking around you, every nameless resistance, every whisper in the shadows, these are not signs of retreat, but confirmations that you are drawing closer to what I have destined for you. The enemy does not waste time on barren ground. It only comes when there is something worth conquering. And I want you to recognize this. The land I have promised to give you, the souls I will reach through you, the impact you are meant to leave on generations to come, that is what stirs hell into motion. The devil does not tremble at voices, but he trembles at my presence. He sees in you an open gateway to restoration, to life, and to my power flowing to others. That is why he gathers whispering in the dark, trying to stop it from coming to pass. You are not in crisis, you are in the midst of a spiritual shift. And when I shift, anything not rooted in me will be shaken. You may feel unsettled. Everything in you may feel like it's being turned upside down, but not to harm you. It is so I may cleanse from you all that cannot go with you into the next season. I am digging deep, purging, resetting, not to punish, but to prepare, because what I am about to place upon you cannot be laid on a dusty foundation. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. Ephesians 6:1. Not because you are failing, but because you are being equipped. The greatest battles often precede the greatest breakthroughs. So do not let the howls of darkness drown out my promise. Do not let the pressure cause you to forget what I spoke beforehand, that you would be sent, and with that sending would come resistance. And remember this, my child, in every battle I allow, I never let you walk alone. Your eyes may not see, but your house is surrounded by warriors of light ready to fight for the word I have spoken over you. The glory I am about to pour through your life is what terrifies the darkness, but it cannot touch what I have sanctified. Stand firm. You are not merely enduring, you are being commissioned to establish what no one else can but you. My beloved one, I know there are moments when you feel as if everything is crumbling. The things you've built with faith, with tears, with prayers, suddenly they seem shaken. You look around and see brokenness, hurt, and disappointment. But let me say this clearly. What you perceive as a crushing blow is actually fitting precisely within my plan for your restoration. The enemy has forged weapons to destroy you. I am turning those very weapons into tools that perfect you. There are words thrown like fiery arrows, but I will not let them consume you. Instead, I use them to forge in you a resilient heart. There are attacks aimed at your spiritual home, but through them I reveal long, cracked stones, weak spots that must be replaced. I do not ignore your pain, but neither do I let it pass without producing good. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Romans 8:2-8. That is not mere comfort, it is a promise that cannot be broken. The shaking you are sensing is not meant to destroy you, but to realign you with my divine order. There are things tightly bound to your life that you never knew were misaligned with my will. So I allow the ground beneath you to tremble, that what is not from me may fall away. This is not punishment, this is mercy, for I do not build you upon sand. I am bringing you into the right position, the right authority, and your true essence as I intended from the beginning. You once saw failure as the end. But to me, it is only the door to the next season. Doors closing, people walking out, plans falling apart. I will use them all to make room for something greater. You are not being pushed back, you are being lifted up. Not in the way you imagined, but in the way only I can see, in full. And when all has been set in place, you will look back and know no scheme of the enemy ever surpassed my wisdom. Be at peace in the shaking, my child. Do not run from what I am removing. Allow me to work deeply within your heart. What seems like loss today will become the solid ground for glorious seasons ahead. You are not being ruined, you are being rebuilt. Not one brick in your house will be wasted if I am the one building it. My precious child, amidst all that is shifting around you, the gossip, the invisible pressures, the coldness from those once close, I know your heart is weary, but victory does not begin with striving in your strength. It begins with your gaze. When you shift your eyes from the circumstances to me, you reposition your entire spiritual battlefield. What is the first thing I taught my people when they stood in the wilderness? Lift up your eyes and see me, your Redeemer. The more you focus on fear, the larger it grows. The more you notice the envious glances of others, the more unsettled your heart becomes. But when your eyes are fixed on me, everything else fades. Not because those things cease to exist, but because the light from me renders them powerless. I never promised the wind would stop blowing, but I promised that if you keep your eyes on me, you will not sink. Like Peter on the water, he walked while looking at me. He sank when he looked at the waves. And I was there reaching out, my hand just as I am for you now. Do not let fear enter when pressure rises. Fear does not knock with storms. It whispers in your mind, "You're not good enough. You've been abandoned. You will fail." But I never said those things. Remember what I spoke to you from the beginning. Every word still holds its full power undiminished. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Matthew 2:4-5. When you anchor your heart in my word, you are rebuilding your faith upon the unshakable rock. And do not let envy from others drive you off the path I've chosen for you. When your gaze is misplaced, you are more likely to lose direction. But when your eyes are fixed on me, your heart will find rest even in unrest. Faithfulness doesn't mean being fearless. It means moving forward even when trembling, because you trust the one who holds it all. You are not in competition with anyone. You only need to be faithful to the path I've marked out. That is your greatest victory. So, my child, come back, close every door open to doubt, and fling wide the door to my presence. Look to me right now. Even if you feel small, weak, empty, I only need your eyes to return to begin renewing all things. And when your eyes are rightly placed, your heart will regain the strength it thought it had lost. Your victory begins there with a single gaze, with an unwavering loyalty. My beloved child, pause for a moment in the stillness of now, and listen to my voice with your whole soul. For in the midst of the noise and the screams of fear and the frenzy of darkness, there is still a gentle, yet mighty voice calling your name, it is I. I do not promise you will never be hurt, misunderstood, or betrayed, but I promise you will never walk through the darkness alone. Never have and never will. I have seen every word that stabbed you in the back, words not spoken to build up but to tear down. I have heard the conversations you were never invited to join, though you were the very subject. I know the glances that feigned goodwill yet bled envy from within. None of it escapes my sight. I am not only the one who knows all, I am the one who defends those who belong to me, and you are mine. If they believed the wounds they inflicted would destroy you, they do not realize that in the very place of pain, I am quietly forging something unshakable. I do not allow the enemy's blows to be wasted. No betrayal passes through my hands without being reshaped for glory. When they tried to shake your house with lies, with secret acts, with deliberate isolation, I used that very shaking to dislodge what was never meant to stay. Perhaps you feel alone. Perhaps you look around and see hands that once held yours now turned away. But know this, I am cleansing the space around you to place something new into your hands, something you could never hold while clinging to the old. Do not respond as the world does. Do not repay deceit with deceit, insult with insult, or bitterness with bitterness. These are beneath the dignity I am forming in you. They may call you weak for not fighting back, but I call it strength, for you have learned the art of trust. I am training your hands not to grasp carnal weapons, but to raise high the sword of my word, sharp, righteous, and never failing. The battle you are in is no ordinary one. It is not found in daily disputes or settled by whispers behind your back. You are walking a battlefield unseen, where powers in the heavens tremble at my movement in your life. There are things the enemy is desperately trying to keep from your reach, not because they are too far, but because they are too near. It knows that if you do not give up, if you keep going, you will lay hold of the promised land I prepared for you, before you were ever formed in your mother's womb. So stand firm. Clothe yourself in every spiritual armor I have given. Do not let pride or emotion lure you into battles not yours to fight. When they attack your honor, do not remove the breastplate of righteousness to protect your ego. When the arrows of doubt come flying that you're not enough, that you've failed, do not drop the shield of faith. Lift it up and block every unseen word trying to poison your heart. When lies start to gnaw at your mind, hold tightly to the helmet of salvation, for it is there I guard your thoughts from the distortion of reality. I know you're tired. I know you want to let go. But my child, let me remind you, it is in moments like these that the enemy fears you most. It is not afraid of your strong days, it trembles at your weak ones when you still choose to trust me. For when you have nothing left to lean on but me, I become everything you need. That is what shakes hell. A weak one who knows how to place unwavering trust in me is one who cannot be defeated. Let my word be the rock beneath your feet. Not just something to memorize, but something to live by, so that when your heart trembles, you know how to dig deep into where I have spoken. Be rooted in truth, that you are not forsaken, that you are not a failure, that you do not need to prove yourself to anyone, for I chose you before anyone else even knew your name. Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name, you are mine. Isaiah 4:3-1. Every time you remember this, take one more step, even if your legs are trembling. And when the storm comes, when it seems everything is falling apart, stand still. You do not need to seize control. You do not need to brace in your own strength. I did not call you to win battles by your own power. I called you to witness the victory I will bring through you. When you keep your heart unmoved in the chaos, you testify to both heaven and hell that my life is alive within you. Remember, no one can take what I have given unless you let go. And I know you will not let go, because you've come too far to turn back. I did not bring you this far to abandon you halfway, and I will not let anything touch your house without my permission. Everything that passes through the door must first be examined by my hand. Whether it bears the name of pain or loss or misunderstanding, if I allow it in, it means I have already prepared something greater on the other side. So hold tightly to peace, not the world's peace, but the kind that comes from knowing you are exactly where I want you to be. Even if nothing is calm around you, if your heart is still in me, you will stand firm. Even if your house shakes, if its foundation is my word, it will not fall. You will not only endure the storm, you will stand after the storm stronger, deeper, and planted exactly where I have destined you to be. And then one day, when light pours through your cracks, the whole world will see that the very place once broken is where my glory chose to rest. What once was shame will become your platform. What once was failure will become your testimony. And you, my beloved child, will become the living letter I have written for the world to read. My beloved child, I hear every broken breath within your soul. I know you have called out to me in the night, not with words, but through the silent tears soaking your pillow. There are pains you cannot articulate, questions you dare not ask for fear that voicing them might shatter you. But I am your Father, the one who understood you long before you ever knew loneliness. I was there in the stillness you mistook for emptiness. I was present not in sound but in silent, keeping stronger and more faithful than anything you have ever leaned upon. You have asked me not aloud but in a heart drenched with doubt. Where were you when I was hurting? I am here, child. I am still here. Not in a display of power but in the strength that kept you from collapsing, that preserved the softness of your heart, that steadied your trembling steps as you continued forward. What you are enduring is not proof of my absence. It is a clear sign that you are walking into the place I have prepared. For if not, why would everything rise up at once? Why would the things you once thought stable suddenly fall apart? It is because I am taking you farther higher, and not everything can go with you into this new season. So what cannot remain must be revealed. You once thought silence meant rejection, but I say it is preparation. I have never stopped watching. I have never turned away. When you see this door close, do not be quick to conclude that goodness has passed. For I am the one who holds the keys, and no door can remain shut forever if I have willed it to open. But before the new door opens, you must learn to walk the narrow way where I remove what can no longer be carried. You ask why everything seems to be breaking when you've done what is right. Why the pain when you've chosen obedience? But child, it is because of that very obedience that the storm has risen. Light is never forgiven by darkness. Glory is never welcomed in a land accustomed to shadows. You are under attack not because you are wrong, but because you carry what is right, something that causes all of hell to tremble. You fear your spiritual house is shaking, but I tell you this, it is being upgraded. I am expanding every room, raising the foundations higher, and altering the structure to match the glory I am placing within you. These tremors are not here to destroy, they are here to realign. The walls you thought were strong enough I am renewing. Not because they are weak, but because what is coming is greater. I do not just want to keep you safe. I want you to multiply in fruitfulness. There are things you've held tightly for so long, people you love, dreams you've nurtured, hopes you've silently carried, but not all of it can journey with you into the new season. I know it hurts. I know you didn't want to let go. But just as the eagle must shed feathers once useful in order to soar higher, so must you release what is no longer aligned with where you're going, not because it is bad, but because it is no longer right. I do not want you moving forward with a heart full of suspicion. Fear distorts discernment. Doubt pulls you away from what I am opening. Let me teach you to look again, not through the lens of defeat, but with eyes anointed to see the spiritual. You see ruin, I see a place to rebuild. You see rejection, I see protection. You see pain, I see the healing process. You see the cracks, I see the entry point for light to break through. Those who turn their backs on you do not hold your future. The harsh words they spoke cannot destroy what I have ordained. You don't need to prove yourself to them. Let me be your defender. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 1:4-1-4. Let your stillness become a roar in the heavens, a full surrender declaring, no matter what happens, I still trust my Father. I am lifting you to see from a higher place. A place where the voices of slander can no longer reach your heart. A place where you do not need every answer to walk in peace. I am opening your spiritual eyes to see what was once blurry will become clear, and what once confused you will be scattered by the light of new vision. I am sharpening the sword in your hand not only to defend but to advance, to carve paths for those who follow. You thought you were lost, but no, you are simply in the moment where I am flipping your map. You are not misplaced. You are being repositioned. The shaking is not failure. It is divine adjustment to anchor you more firmly on new ground. And when the storm feels too strong, remember, it is I who sent the wind. Not to blow you away, but to remove the dust that's long clung to your armor. I am restoring the brilliance within you, and when you emerge from this season, none will recognize you the old way. The deliverance you've been praying for is coming, but understand this rescue does not always arrive with gentle hands. Sometimes I come with a hammer not to strike you, but to break chains, to open prison doors, to shatter what you thought was protection but was actually imprisonment. Heavenly deliverance is not always a breeze, it is thunderous like lightning. But that lightning does not strike you, it strikes the bondages that have held you too long. And here is the final truth. My beloved, what you are calling pain, I am calling birth. The contractions in your spirit are not meaningless. You are in the birthing room of grace. Something new is about to be born, and like all things birthed in my kingdom, it requires pain to make a way. Do not fear the pain. Keep your eyes on me, for after the first cry will come life, life in fullness, life in destiny, life unshakable. And when you cradle the new thing in your hands, you will know I was always there, Father, midwife, and finisher of every good thing. My precious child, I see your heart in motion. There are moments you sit quietly, eyes brimming with tears, not because you are weak, but because you are carrying burdens too deep to name. But hear this well, for I do not speak to soothe temporarily, but to etch into your soul an unshakable truth. You are not a failure, not forgotten, and certainly not lost. You are appointed, chosen, and hidden in my hand like a warrior being forged in silence. What you are facing is not evidence of my withdrawal. On the contrary, it is the clearest sign that my hand is upon every part of your life, deeply, intentionally, and precisely. You cannot yet see what I have prepared ahead, but I see. You do not understand why familiar doors have closed or why those who once spoke love have fallen silent. But I know, and if you are still enough to listen, you will sense it. This silence is not a void. It is the sacred space where I am remaking something holy within you. You are not rejected. No word from man can erase the seal I have placed upon you. I am not moved by public opinion, by bias, or by narrow human perspectives. I see past masks, I go straight to the heart. And because I see it all, I hold you, even when you no longer have the strength to hold yourself. Their words will not have the final say. Their decisions to exclude you from their path will not cancel my purpose for your life. I alone speak the final word. So hold to faithfulness, my child, not just in moments of ease, but in the confusion. When something knocks on the door of your soul, don't ignore it. I have placed discernment within you. It is not paranoia, not wild imagination. It is a spiritual skill. I am sharpening a divine antenna I've installed, so you can sense what eyes cannot see. You are in training, not for now, but for the next season. Not just to guard yourself, but to watch over the ones I will place around you. You are not just a child, you are becoming a watchman, one who stands on the wall to sound the alarm when darkness draws near. Not only for your house, but for many homes, thirsty souls who are quietly approaching the well I am digging through your life. And you must know this well does not appear overnight. It comes through sweat, sleepless nights, unanswered questions, and tremors that feel unbearable. But remember this, the well I open will never run dry. And you will stand at that well not only to drink, but to pass living water to others, those who have known loneliness, envy, rejection, simply because they carry a light darkness cannot endure. You once asked me, why are people so jealous of one another? I've heard that question not once but hundreds of times in your heart, every time you were met with cold eyes, every time you felt the silent distance from those you trusted. The answer is not simple, but today you are ready to understand. Jealousy is not new. It has existed since the beginning, since man first began to compare. It's not something only found out there. It can arise even within communities once called holy. Jealousy is born when people stop looking to me and begin looking sideways. It grows when my affirmation no longer satisfies them. And so they search for reasons to hate you, not because you've done wrong, but because the light within you exposes the darkness within them. Understand this: what surrounds you now is not just personal reaction, it is spiritual resistance. The enemy cannot read minds, but it knows how to recognize those marked with purpose. It sees the deep wells I'm digging through you, and it knows if you finish, many souls will find life. So it stirs jealousy in those around you. It uses the familiar to infiltrate. It borrows the mouths of the trusted to tempt you into quitting. But child, do not quit. The cost of being sent is being misunderstood. The cost of light is the cold gaze of darkness. But don't let that discourage you. When I prepare someone for a great work, I often walk them through empty hallways where the only sound is their own footsteps, so they learn to walk without applause. You are there, and that is a good sign. I speak not just to reveal, but to cleanse, to warn, to prepare, and to comfort. Let my word wash the mud from your mind. Let my presence sweep away every broken shard from betrayal. Let me hold you until you no longer tremble at what man has done, but stand firm in what I am doing. You need not answer every accusation. You need not prove a thing. I will prove it myself. And one day those who walked away will watch from afar and realize what they thought was your fall was the beginning of what I was building, something unshakable. The stones they threw I will use as steps for you to rise. The words meant to silence you, I will transform into the material that raises your voice across realms, not for vengeance, but for my glory to be revealed in humility, in love, in the power of restoration. Remember, you are the one hidden in me. And that means you are safe even in battle, covered even when enemies roar, held even when hearts change. And from that place of safety, I will launch you like an arrow drawn at the right moment, aimed with precision, piercing even the walls others said were impossible to break. So, my beloved child, stand firm. Do not merely survive, stand where you belong. Do not just try, keep believing. Do not merely wait, be ready. For what I am about to do through you will cause all of heaven to rejoice. And what the enemy fears most is the moment you realize you were never weak, never abandoned, never alone. For I, the one who dwells in unapproachable light, have always been here. My beloved child, I want you to know this not as a thunderclap from the sky, but as a whisper from a father who has watched every step you've taken. There are things in life that begin as mere dust in the wind, seemingly light, seemingly harmless, but if not recognized early, they quietly erode the very foundation of a person's life. Envy is one of those things. It doesn't strike like a storm you can hear from afar, nor does it show itself like a thief knocking at your door. It seeps into the heart like smoke, without form, without sound, without scent, yet it penetrates every hidden corner, not exposed to the light. Envy does not erupt like war. It begins as a glance held a little too long, a silent question within the mind. Why them? Why not me? Why does my life feel like a struggle, while theirs seems so calm? I have seen many souls collapse because they did not recognize it in time. You may think that only the wicked feel envy. No, my child. Even the kindest people, those who once sat beside you in worship, can let that darkness creep in. All it takes is one moment of not offering their hurt to me, one moment of swallowing a sigh when someone else is blessed and the seed is sown. And that seed, if not stopped, will find fertile soil in silence and loneliness, in unanswered questions, in faith worn thin by time. I once saw a mother pray fervently for her child for a whole year, only to glance over at the family next door where the child thrived without prayers and her heart ached. I do not blame her for that because I understand. But if she does not bring that pain to me, if she holds it inside and lets it turn bitter, that is when envy begins to grow like vines curling around a heart already wounded. And do you know what happens to a heart strangled by vines? It stops growing, it stops loving, it stops seeing the good things I am still doing. You must not allow that to happen in your own heart. And you must not let the eyes of others blur your awareness of the grace I have placed on your life. There will be people who never speak of their envy, but their eyes will reveal it. Some will smile at you, yet inside they are asking why you were chosen. And though they may hide it from the world, they cannot hide it from me. I have heard the words they dare not speak, even as mere thoughts. I have seen every vessel within them tighten when they watch you walk in peace. They have tried everything to find and still cannot grasp. Be careful, not because of them, but for your own sake. Don't let their attitudes wear down your inner strength. I know you have asked, why do those I love look at me like that? You've wondered, what did I do wrong? But you did nothing wrong when I poured out my favor on you. And that favor is not a privilege for pride. It is a responsibility to walk in greater humility, greater stability, and deeper compassion. These are the very things that will be your armor against the arrows of jealousy. When envy takes root, it doesn't just damage the one who harbors it, it seeks to spread. It causes people to unite not by truth but by shared resentment. The whispered conversations behind closed doors, the nods exchanged in the shadows, the unified voices lacking justice. They all begin in a heart unwilling to bring its pain to me. And when they gather, you'll feel the atmosphere shift. Something in the room becomes heavy, cold, invisible, but undeniable. That is when I want you to walk out, not in panic, but in the authority of one who is anointed. I have seen you standing amid cold stares, trying to keep your heart pure. I know there are moments you wanted to give up, to compromise, to pretend not to notice, just to keep the peace. But you cannot turn a deaf ear when the darkness begins to call your name. Remember, silence is not always peace. Sometimes it is complicity and fear. I did not call you to hide. I called you to shine. And light, as you well know, is never welcome in places where people have grown comfortable with darkness. Even so, don't let your heart grow hard. They need mercy not because they deserve it, but because I showed you mercy before you ever did. They need prayer because perhaps no one ever taught them how to express their pain in a healthy way. Perhaps no one ever told them, when your heart aches at another's blessing, run to the Father. No one told them that envy is an unhealed wound, and only I can heal it. So if you find your heart turning cold when someone else is blessed, run to me. Don't let a second pass. Don't let the seed of envy find soil. Tell me everything, even the things you think shouldn't be said. I do not fear the truth. I have seen it all. And it is precisely truth brought into the light that will set you free from envy's slow corrosion. And if you are the one enduring those looks, the one targeted by silent resentment, I want you to know you are not abandoned. I am not blind to those piercing eyes, not deaf to the strained laughter, not indifferent to the hands that hold yours while their hearts pull away. I see it all, and more than that, I am using it to refine you. True love is not birthed in applause, it is forged in the fire, and these invisible collisions are shaping you into someone strong, merciful, and unshakable. Keep your heart pure. Continue to live with honesty. Keep smiling not for others, but because I am watching you. You don't need to force yourself to be understood, nor defend yourself to be accepted. What needs revealing, I will reveal. What needs humbling, I will humble. You only need to stand still and remember your silence in the light holds more power than every scream in the dark. You are the one chosen to shine in the place where others would rather preserve the shadows. So don't fear the loneliness. It is not a punishment. It is the space where I speak to you in private. It is where I set you apart to protect what I am building inside you. And when this season passes, you will not be the same. You will emerge not bitter, not vengeful, not drained, but radiant, resilient, and filled with peace that cannot be shaken. My beloved child, envy is not a notion born of this age. It is an ancient shadow, quiet, patient, and ever waiting in the hearts not yet illuminated by humility. Since the moment mankind stepped forth from my shaping hands, it was already present. Not in the first cries, but in the second glance, when the heart begins to compare, when the eyes pause not to love, but to measure, to judge, and to grasp. Cain did not kill Abel with his hands first. He killed with a glance, a gaze not lifted toward me, but cast downward at his brother. He saw my favor upon his sibling, but instead of seeking me to understand, to learn to become more like me, he allowed the fire of jealousy to consume his spirit. And from that moment, death began not in the act, but in the posture. I saw it, and I did not stay silent. I said, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it. I did not require Cain to be perfect, only to be alert. But he did not listen, and the cost of that deafness was blood. From that day to this very moment, I have never ceased to warn. History does not merely repeat itself in books, but in every life. Mankind still does not listen. Still lets bitterness speak before reason can intervene. Still lets the eyes of rivalry dictate action instead of the light of the Spirit. Still blames others instead of coming to me to discover what pleases me. And then, in the blindness of pride, in the noise of self, they lull themselves into the illusion that I do not see. But my child, I am not a distant God seated on clouds, watching and judging from afar. I do not wait for you in lofty places, nor only appear among instruments, songs, and ceremonial prayers. I am there when you bow your head in hurt. I am there when your heart stings from a glance lacking grace. I enter even the darkest rooms not to condemn first, but to redeem first. I am the one who sees what others cannot, and I am there to mend what you cannot. Do not be deceived by the silence of sin. It needs no voice to destroy. It only needs to be quietly entertained within. And envy is such a whisper it does not knock loudly. It simply sits crouching at the threshold like a predator waiting for you to drop your guard. It waits for the moment you stop praying, when you cease to give thanks, when your gaze wanders from what I have given you to what I've given another. But you can choose differently. You can choose to rise to guard the door of your heart and not let envy enter. You can choose to govern yourself not by sheer will but by total dependence on me. For envy, when rejected, when exposed to the light, loses its power. It thrives only in the darkness you allow. But when you invite me in, every shadow is dispelled. I did not create you to live in cycles of rivalry, bitterness, and comparison. I created you to walk in the light, in freedom, peace, and joy. And that begins when you learn this truth, to rejoice in what I am doing in others, as well as in yourself. When you see your brother or sister blessed, remember that I do not run dry. My grace has no limit. My gifts never run short of your portion. Do not let someone else's blessing become your bitterness when I intend for it to strengthen your faith. My child, every time envy knocks at your heart, remember my words. You must rule over it. That word stands for every generation, including this one. Do not let ego blind your eyes. Do not let the call of fame, comparison, or the craving for recognition lead you astray. The highest place is not where everyone sees you, but where I see you faithful in the portion assigned to you. Even if the world forgets your name, if I remember you, then you already have a share in eternity. So live differently from the world. When others chase after rivalry, run to the quiet place with me. When others stab with glances, look at them with compassion. When others use words to diminish, answer with silence wrapped in my wisdom. Not because you are lesser, but because you are. Mine and I have called you to live set apart. I am with you. Even as you wrestle with the jagged edges of emotion, the sting of being overlooked, or the ache of being unseen, I am there. And if you entrust me with every thought, I will transform them into something sacred. I will use every moment you choose forgiveness, every time you reject bitterness, every time you bless another, while you are in lack, as bricks to build a soul mature in my kingdom. You do not need to win in the eyes of man. You only need to stand firm in mine. And if you learn that, then envy will have no place in your house, because the house has me, and where I dwell, no darkness can remain for long. My precious one, I have seen it all. Nothing escapes. My eyes, no word eludes. My hearing, whether spoken or veiled in sweet gestures and seemingly kind looks. I saw when they greeted you with peace on their lips while hoping secretly for your collapse. I saw when they bowed their heads in prayer but inwardly watched to see when you would stumble. And I, the righteous one, am never fooled by masks. They may deceive others, but not me. I will not be mocked, and I do not forget what is sown in the dark. What a man sows he will reap, and the harvest will come neither early nor late. But my child, keep your heart pure as I handle all things. Do not let external bitterness seep into your soul. Do not let others' envy stain the purity within you. I have not called you to look back in hatred. I've called you to look up and stand firm. Envy is a symptom, the silent cry of souls starved of my presence. When someone is consumed by jealousy, it's not because you took something from them. It's because they have not truly known me as the one who is enough. If their hearts were rooted in me, they would not fear lack. If they trusted my timing, they would not see another's rise as the sign of their own failure. If they lived in the light of my word, they would understand that grace is not divided through competition, but poured out like the sea, overflowing to all who are willing to receive. You have taken nothing from them. You are merely walking in the portion I have destined for you from the beginning. When I lift you up, it does not diminish anyone else unless they were standing upon pride. When I enlarge your dwelling, it does not shrink in others by force. For I am not limited. My love is not a narrow garment made for one. My blessings are not distributed by earthly measures. Each soul has a path, a race, a destination. No one needs to take what belongs to another. Each one has their own portion in me, if they truly know how to wait and walk in obedience. Be at peace. Do not retaliate. Do not argue. Do not strive to prove anything. Let me be your defender in the way I always work in the light. What they conspire in the dark, I will bring to the daylight. What they whisper behind your back will echo before me. But my child, in the meantime, do not let your heart grow hard. Continue to walk in humility, for the more you are attacked and still choose humility, the more glory you receive in me. And when that day comes, when I unveil all things and establish what is right, I want you to feel no gloating, no pride, no judgment. I want you to still carry mercy, still be ready to forgive, still stand upon the foundation I have taught, that love does not envy, does not keep a record of wrongs, does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. For you too once struggled, once compared, once were wounded, and I forgave, corrected, restored. Now as I restore you, become one who heals, not one who condemns. Engrave this truth upon your heart: my beloved, envy cannot thrive where there is fullness in me. It is the weak cry of a thirsty heart seeking validation from man instead of its creator. But you choose to dwell deep in me. Let me be enough for you. Then no matter who is honored, no matter who is blessed, you will rejoice without lack. For the satisfaction found in me never runs dry. You do not need to grasp for anything, because I have already set aside the best for you. Not by envy, but by promise. Not through competition, but by my eternal choosing. And when you stand firm upon that truth, no lie can sway you, no jealous glance can bring you down. You will still stand, not because you are strong, but because you belong to me. My beloved child, there are things you know to be true, yet they still cause your heart to ache when they repeat the envious glances, the strange silences, the half-hearted compliments. You have not asked for much, only that others would understand you do not walk by your own strength, but by my grace. And yet the more you obey, the more faithful you become, the more you find people standing quietly at a distance, their eyes no longer shining with innocence. You do not understand why they cannot rejoice when I bless you, but I know, and today I will speak plainly, not to help you defend yourself, but to bring you healing. My child, they do not understand you because they have not truly understood me. I am not yet a part of their lives. I remain a concept, a resource, a means to an end. I am not their treasure, so when I give to someone else what they have longed for, their hearts are shaken. They look around and ask, why not me? They look at you not to learn, but to measure. And because their identity is not rooted in me, every time someone else steps into a season of favor, they feel their own value threatened. They say they love me, but in truth, they love what I can do for them more than they love me. They count their efforts, collect achievements, and try to prove their worth through performance diligence and outward righteousness. And when I touch someone they would not have chosen, their hearts break. They are not saddened because I did not come. They are saddened because I came to someone else first. They do not hunger for me. They hunger for validation. That is why jealousy finds such easy access to their hearts, like an old friend. You have lived among such people. Those who once prayed the same prayers, who once wept with you, who once placed a hand on your shoulder and said, "We will wait on the Lord together." But when I moved in your life, their posture shifted, not because you changed, but because their hearts were revealed. They cry out to me, Lord, have you not seen my faithfulness? Do you not see all I've done? Have you forgotten me? My child, I forget no one. Every tear is recorded, but I do not bless because someone cries more. I do not raise someone up simply because they try harder. I choose according to my will, my wisdom, and my perfect timing. You did not seize that glory. You received it through surrender. They do not know the nights you knelt alone when no one believed in you. They do not hear the broken words you whispered through the wind and silence. They did not see the seasons where you were crushed, rejected, and isolated so I could deepen your roots. They do not understand the cost of obedience when you had to silence your own voice to preserve spiritual stillness. And now they see the fruit, but they do not understand the drought that scorched the ground I am now causing to bloom. I know it wears you down, because you do not enjoy being misunderstood. You are not used to being seen as someone who stole what others deserved more. But my child, I saw you from the beginning. I know you do not seek applause. You seek acceptance from me. And that is why I am taking you farther deeper, higher, not because you are better, but because you were more surrendered. I do not need perfect souls. I need willing ones. Ones I can touch, correct, and lead even when no one is watching, even when nothing is given in return. So when you see envy rising in others, do not retaliate and do not diminish yourself. Do not try to please them by stepping back from what I have entrusted to you. Do not apologize for the grace I have placed upon you. Be humble, but do not deny it. Love them, but do not smother what is blossoming within you, simply because others have not yet learned to rejoice. Stand firm, not in pride, not in retreat. For I am using you as a living witness of my faithfulness, not to those already convinced, but to those still wavering between belief and doubt. You will encounter many more like this. People whose eyes shine sweetly, but whose spirits are cold. People who pray for you in one moment and slander you in another. People who use my name to justify the hurt they sow. But you do not need to fight them. Light does not argue with darkness. It simply continues to shine, and that alone will cause the darkness to retreat. Know this, you are becoming a living mirror of what many pray for, but few have the courage to endure. They see what you carry, but not what you've lost. They crave what you bring, but they are not willing to walk the road you've walked. And that is why I chose you, because you do not crave brilliance, you crave me. Keep your heart tender even if your eyes have seen betrayal. Keep loving even if you are sometimes left behind. For the sweetness within you does not come from your lips, it flows from the deepest place of obedience. I will use you as a vessel full of water for the thirsty, and even those who once doubted you will one day come to drink. Not because you are great, but because I, the one who works wonders through the vessels no one chooses, I have chosen you. My beloved, be at peace. No one can stop what I have begun. No one can steal the role I have written for you in this life story. When I am your reward, whether others see you or not, whether they affirm you or not, it no longer sways you. For in me you do not need to be chosen again, because you have already been chosen. And what I have chosen no one can undo. My beloved child, you ask why, in the radiant light of truth, so many still choose to walk in darkness. You wonder how they can do what is evil, even knowing that I see. How they can continue to sin despite hearing my name, reading my word, even once proclaiming me as Lord. My child, I will answer you not with thunder, but with a truth that goes deep, because they acknowledge me with their lips, but they have not given me their hearts. They sing about me, but when they leave the gathering, they live as if I do not exist. They speak of reverence, but their hearts do not tremble when they do evil. They may memorize scripture, but they do not allow it to transform their lives. They have turned faith into ritual, a beautiful frame to display false holiness instead of a mirror reflecting the need to repent. Some proclaim me loudly, yet live as though they are the center, and I am merely a tool for their own exaltation. I see everything, not only actions but also thoughts, not just public sins but secret motives. They may deceive others with soft words, humble tones, and perfectly timed tears. But my child, I am not swayed by words. I am not led by emotion. I do not bow to talent, and I am not moved by appearances. I weigh every soul, and I always see into the deepest places where no disguise can hide. When the heart is not truly surrendered, sin no longer frightens them. It does not shame them, it is welcomed as something understood. Then they begin to justify. They clothe jealousy in the guise of genuine concern, but it is only a longing to seize what others have. They embellish bitterness with the narrative of being the wounded one to avoid forgiving. They disguise control as protection, when in truth it is manipulation. They excuse unbelief with the pain of past disappointment, and in doing so I become the one they judge rather than the one who reigns. But I, your Lord, do not look at the outward frame. I am not deceived by appearances. I measure every heartbeat. I search the motive behind every action. People see deeds, but I see why. They see tears, but I know why they fall. They may impress the world, but they cannot fool me, not even for a moment, for I am blind to nothing, not to appearances, not to praise, not to power. My child, I test the mind and examine the heart. I weigh every word spoken and compare it to the life lived, and according to each one's path I will reward or correct. I do not show favoritism. I am not indulgent, but I am not quick to punish. I am patient, so much so that my very patience becomes the reason they assume I do not see. They mistake my silence for indifference. But in truth I am waiting for them to return before their choices bring forth irreversible consequences. So my child, if you ever see people living deceitfully without facing my discipline, immediately do not doubt my justice. Do not think I have overlooked it. I am measuring, I am watching, and I am giving them time to repent, time to face the truth within their hearts. But if they persist in the dark, if they continue to use religion as a cloak to hide their true selves, the day will come. I will remove the mask, and what is true will stand, what is false will be consumed. As for you, do not be one who merely speaks my name with your lips. Do not talk about me to others while your heart remains distant. I want your heart. I want true love, the kind that surrenders, that allows itself to be shaped, that obeys even without full understanding. Because only when you live in truth will you no longer fear the light. Only when your heart is pure will you no longer fear me drawing near. And only when you love me with all your heart, not with rituals, will my presence become your joy, not your burden. Let me search your heart every day. Let me teach you to live with integrity, not to be praised by others, but to be called mine by me. For in the end, it is not the one most known by people who will be rewarded, but the one most known by me, the one who chose to belong to me without pretense, without disguise. My beloved child, I hear your question, why don't they fear you? That question rises not just from your mind, but from a heart that bears wounds, wounds of being misunderstood, opposed, and disregarded as you choose to live for the truth. I know, I see, and I will answer you. They do not fear me, not because I am unworthy of reverence, but because in their hearts I have been reduced to a palatable version, a god of their own, making silent when they go astray, applauding when they act against righteousness, and stepping back when they demand control. They formed an image of me, not through my word, but through their own desires. A deity who tolerates envy, pats greed on the back, overlooks rebellion, and never speaks a word that might offend their fragile ego. But that is not me. I do not change because hearts shift. I do not bend my standards because society redirects. I am the Holy One, and in that holiness there is boundless love, but also uncompromising justice. True fear of the Lord does not drive you away, it brings you to your knees in repentance. And from that lowest place I lift you with the glorious strength of my forgiveness. You see, reverence has been diluted in this age. They call me Father, yet live as if they'll never face their Father. They pray to me, yet live apart from my word. They sing of grace, yet deny the necessity of transformation. Their fear is no longer directed toward me, but toward the judgment of others. They fear losing their reputation, but not their soul. My sanctuary has been exchanged for entertainment. And it grieves me not because I lack worshipers, but because I lack hearts that are truly broken. Still, I am here. I am not silent. I am not distant. I am not discouraged by rejection. I continue to whisper to hearts not through roaring thunder but through gentle conviction. I still knock not to punish but to invite. Even now, with doors shut tight by pride, I still knock, for I desire that none should perish. I take no pleasure in the spiritual death of the envious or rebellious. My heart leans always toward restoration, healing, and renewal. Yet many will not hear because they've learned to trust their own voice more than the voice of heaven. Child, do not be like them. You have chosen a different path. While many flee from the light, you walk into it. While they avoid truth, you weep within it. While they hide behind labels, you wrestle with the reality of truth. And I have seen it all. I saw the times you remained silent when provoked. I saw the nights you cried, not out of fear, but because you did not want to wound my heart. I saw the trembling in you, not a sign of weakness, but the mark of a heart that has been touched by me. And that is why they target you, not just because of what you have, but because of who you are becoming. The enemy does not fear noisy, empty hearts. It fears the quiet presence that carries true light. The light in you, not self-made but ignited by me, makes their darkness tremble. The peace you carry, not false calm but stillness born of knowing me, disrupts the places they hide. Your surrender unsettles. The controllers for you are no longer bound in their web. The grace I pour upon you is a reminder to them that they have delayed, compromised, and wandered. Do not be surprised by the attack. See it as confirmation. For light is never complained about from afar, only when it draws near does darkness rage, and the light in you has drawn near. Near enough they can't ignore it, near enough that your presence exposes the falsehood in others. You don't need to point out their error. Your presence, your life, your calm in the storm is the confrontation their conscience cannot bear. I know it's hard. I know you are weary. But child, I am close. Closer than the voices around you, closer than the confusion in your own heart. I will renew your strength. I will raise you up, not to fight with words, but with the presence of me within you. When you walk with me, you need not shout, your peace will speak. When you keep your heart pure, you need not prove, the anointing will testify. You are a living testimony to the world that I am still moving. You are a reminder that holiness is never outdated. You are the echo of reverence for me, not through sermons, but through the life you live daily. And as long as you keep walking, keep obeying, keep guarding your heart from bitterness, no matter how the darkness rises, I will protect you. I am the one who began the good work in you, and I will complete it. Keep your heart. Stay in me. Live as though every eye is watching, for it is. Heaven and earth are observing. Angels are cheering. And I am calling your name not to judge, but to reward. Because you have chosen to fear me in a generation that has forgotten who I am. My beloved child, I know you carry wounds not from swords and spears, but from glances, words, and the silent attitudes of those who once held your hand in prayer, who once professed love with their lips but held daggers behind their offers. Backs, I've seen it all. I've heard every whisper. I witnessed every step they took away from truth. And even as they turned their backs on you, even as they opposed what I'm doing in your life, I have not stopped calling them. Even when you cannot bear to speak their names, I still call. I call not because I am blind. I call not because I am unaware of their deeds, but because I am the one who does not easily give up on any soul. I am the one who is patient, long-suffering, not out of weakness, but because of love. Not a cheap love easily offended, but a steadfast love sealed with my very blood. You see, their hearts have turned to stone. I saw it before you did. But I also see beneath that stone a glimmer of light, a sliver of hope for repentance. So I wait. I am patient, I hope. However, remember, I do not slumber in my patience. Do not mistake my mercy for eternal silence. I do not approve of wickedness. I do not overlook deceit. My patience opens the way for return, but it is not a pass for freedom in sin. The day will come when I act. The time will come when all that is hidden, no matter how skillfully concealed, will be revealed in my radiant light. Every scheme woven in darkness will shatter when my presence arrives. For I am light, and nothing can withstand my light. But child, when that day comes, when my justice pours like a mighty flood, I do not want to see your heart stained with pride. Do not let their envy turn you into the arrogant. Do not let their bitterness plant bitterness in you. I know you may think they deserve judgment, and you may be right, but you are not called to condemn, you are called to rise higher, called to live differently, to dwell in a spiritual realm where the flesh has no voice. Guard your heart like a watchman tending the flame on the altar. What you allow to linger within will determine whether you walk in freedom or chains. Bitterness, hurt, pride, any of these can steal the sweet presence I'm pouring on you in this season. I don't want you to merely survive, I want you to be lifted, so that when others look at you, they don't see someone who made it through, they see someone sent. Someone who walked through fire yet wasn't burned. Someone who passed through rejection yet still carries compassion. Therefore, learn to live by the Spirit, not by striving in the flesh, but by my leading. When you are in the Spirit, you won't have to fight for every word, every action. You'll be lifted to sit with me where righteousness and peace embrace, where your heart is cleansed of comparison, and where my presence is your portion, a portion no one can take away. We have been raised up with Christ and seated with him in heavenly places. Ephesians 2:6. This is not symbolic, but your true position. You don't need to retaliate. You don't need to argue. You don't need to prove your purity or worth. Just walk on, stand firm, trust. Let the holiness in you be the answer. Let your steadfastness be the evidence. And let your silence be the sound that touches heaven, where I hear, I judge, I reward, and I restore. For you were not called to dwell in the depths of mediocrity. You were called to stand high with me, looking down on every scheme without being shaken. Remember, the greatest difference between you and them is not status, but where your roots are planted. They envy because they are not rooted in me. But you, if your heart remains anchored in me, you will not be swayed by praise or contempt, by success or trial. Your heart will rest in me. You will walk without fear of losing your way. And you will be preserved not by your own righteousness, but by my mercy that covers your house day by day, hour by hour, my beloved child. From the very place where you have been wounded, I want you to open your mouth and bless. Not because you are not in pain, but because you have learned to walk through pain without losing yourself. Every word you speak is a seed, and the seeds sown from your heart when you were trampled, misunderstood, and envied, those very seeds will yield a harvest that all of heaven will witness. Do not curse. Do not let bitterness distort my image within you. When you choose to bless in pain, you are not weak, you are living like me. I know you have the right to resist. I know you could defend yourself, speak back, expose the truth, and silence others. But I am teaching you something higher. Not all righteousness must be shouted. There are victories won in silence when you walk through the shadows without resentment. Every prayer you offer for those who have hurt you is not a futile sacrifice. It is the way you preserve the sacred dignity placed upon you, the way you keep your foundation firm rather than letting your heart fall into the abyss of bitterness. Pray for them not to prove that you are superior, but to protect my image in you. For I am the one who forgave those who crucified my son. I am the one still waiting for the prodigal to return, though he left in pride. My child, when you forgive, you are not growing weaker. You are rising with heaven. Every time you choose love over hate, peace over retaliation, silence over argument, you are joining the grand work of redemption that I am carrying out. Do not repay evil with evil. That is the way of the world, the way of those who do not know me. But you are different. You have been called to a higher path, a path only those who dare let me refine them can walk with steadiness. It is not easy, I know. But if you endure this journey patiently, you will see nothing is truly lost when you live. My way, you are only being shaped to hold what is eternal. Listen closely, my dear one. Those who live in envy are not beyond redemption. They are not utterly hopeless. They are broken souls carrying wounds no one sees. Some have never heard a timely word of encouragement. Some have never been embraced without being used. Some have lived too long in darkness that light has become blinding and painful. I have not abandoned them, and I have placed you among them not so you would harden like they have, but to become living proof that something better exists. Be a mirror, no need to preach much, just live. Let the light within you become the confusion of the darkness. When you rejoice quietly amidst slander, when you hold a sincere smile amid cold glares, You are teaching through your very presence. Your joy will astonish them. They will not understand why you remain peaceful when misjudged. They will be baffled when you do not retaliate against harshness, and that very calm will shatter the walls their hearts have built. I am training you to be a person of presence, not so that you always need to prove yourself, but so that your mere presence shifts the atmosphere. You will be a dwelling place for sacred stillness, for gentle light, for wisdom from above. You will carry the fragrance of heaven, not arrogant, not dull, but steady like a tree planted by the waters bearing fruit in season. So when people speak falsely, remain silent. When they turn away, keep your face forward. When they distance themselves, because I have touched you, stay near to me. You don't need to chase after validation. Let what I've planted in you speak on your behalf. I am the righteous one. I know the time to reveal the truth and the way to uphold your name. You do not live to counter every false word. You live to reveal the truth through your life. And one day, when everything is brought into the light, you will stand without needing to say a word, for that light will speak for you. Keep digging deep. Keep walking forward. Keep living truthfully, no pretense, no disguise, no silent agony. Keep forgiving, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free. Keep trusting that I will defend you. Keep choosing what is right, even when what is wrong is easier. Keep blessing, for every word is a sign that you are not defeated, and I have never stopped working. And finally, my child, when you have chosen this path, the higher, more beautiful, more difficult road, know that I see every step you take. No step is wasted. No tear is shed in vain. No silence is empty. Everything you endure becomes fragrant oil poured out where I am preparing to set you. Be strong. Do not let your heart grow calloused in the face of coldness. Do not let your heart turn cynical when envy draws near. Keep your heart tender, so I can still use you. Keep your eyes bright, so I can still see myself in you. And keep your steps unhurried, so you do not run ahead of me, nor fall behind, but walk with me, in the rhythm of heaven, in the light of life, in a sacred beauty no world can imitate. My beloved child, when your righteousness is mocked, when your sincerity is dismissed as naivete, remember this. Stand firm, not because you are tough, but because I am the solid ground beneath your feet. When the scoffers rise, it is not proof you are wrong. Sometimes it is the sign that you are walking the path I have chosen for you. Do not seek validation from the world, for they do not hold your reward. Seek me, for I am the one who sees what they cannot, understands what they do not, and protects what they try to pierce. When they accuse you, pray not so I punish them, but so your heart is not corroded by resentment. When they twist your intentions, live uprightly, for light does not need to explain. It only needs to keep shining. I am your defender, my child. No accusation from human lips can stop me from acting at the right time. No one can take vindication from my hand. Sometimes I let you stay silent, not because you have no voice, but because I am preparing a defense greater than any words you could say. Yes, many sin thinking judgment is far off. They live as though there is plenty of time to change, to turn to live truthfully. But my child, I am not bound by human clocks. A day to me is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years like a moment. They believe time is on their side, but truly time is exposing them. I am coming not only in some distant apocalypse, but in every moment I stir the heart, in every call out of falsehood. The time will come when my fire will test all that has been built. Everything constructed on sand, on ambition, on envy, on human cleverness will collapse. But what has been built on obedience, on tears of prayer, on faithfulness in the dark will stand. For nothing is hidden that will not be revealed, and nothing secret that will not be made known. All that is concealed will be shouted from the rooftops. Every motive will be weighed not by public opinion, but by eternal justice. My child, when I judge, I do not see as humans see. I do not count by the crowd. I am not swayed by loud voices, big names, or glowing achievements. I see the hidden places where you cried in silence, where you forgave unseen, where you stayed faithful though unnamed. I will measure by my truth, not by worldly success. And my forgiveness is not compromise. It does not overlook sin, but it opens a path for true transformation. I am working even now while many think I am silent. I am shaking systems. I am unsettling foundations built on pride and fame. What was once celebrated, if not of me, will be brought low. Strongholds of man will become abandoned ground, making room for what I will establish anew. I am disrupting the complacency where people live in self-satisfaction, thinking themselves good enough, thinking morality is a garment rather than a life displaying my presence. I am dismantling idols of fame, of power, of ego. These things have sat on the throne of many hearts for too long. They do not kneel to me, for they already kneel to the admiration of others. They do not pray truly, for they fear silence will expose their soul's emptiness. But I come to cleanse, not with blind rage, but with holy fire, a fire that not only consumes but refines. I am seeking a remnant, those who will not bow to comparison, those not swept by the culture of competition, those who do not fake holiness to protect their image, but truly hunger for me in the secret place. I am calling forth a generation that no longer lives for applause, but lives for the whisper from the secret place. They will not bow to envy. They will not conform to imitation. They will seek my face, not my hand, not my gifts, but me alone. My child, be one of them. Let your heart be cleansed daily. Do not merely avoid evil, long for what is holy. Do not just say, "You love me, live," as though nothing else is more worthy than my presence. When everything around you crumbles, when the systems that once felt secure turn unstable, you will know I am the one who does not change. I am your stronghold. I am the truth among lies. I am the breath when you think you can no longer take a step, and I will not let your obedience be in vain. Even if no one sees, even if no one understands, I have seen. I have recorded every smallest act, every time you chose what is right when wrong was easier, every time you chose to displease man rather than grieve me, every moment you remained pure in a tainted environment. These things are priceless to me. So do not grow weary, do not lose heart, do not let the noise of the world drown out my gentle voice. Keep walking, keep praying, keep obeying. The day of my coming is near. And on that day you will see everything you have endured, believed, and held on to was never in vain. My beloved child, you are a part of the remnant, a small group I have preserved for myself in the midst of a generation that has forgotten my voice. Not because you are strong, not because you are exceptional, but because you have not conformed to the shape of darkness. You still stand, though, trembling. You still choose to listen, even when the world is echoing with countless other voices. And because you are mine, the fire of envy will not consume you as others expect. It will not devour you. Instead, I will use that very fire to refine you, to burn away what is unnecessary, to sharpen your steadfastness so you may emerge from the furnace brighter, clearer, and more like me. Do not let the crowd intimidate you. Though many eyes fix on you and opposing voices crash like tidal waves, I am greater still. I do not measure by numbers. I look at the heart. And your heart has chosen to stand with truth, even at the cost of loneliness. Remember this, my child, their prosperity is not a sign of my approval. Many things can be gained without me, but they will be lost for lack of foundation. There are houses built on praise and power, but when the wind blows, they collapse. I see the coming ruin that human eyes do not yet perceive. But you, if you build everything on me, your faith, your relationships, your vision, then when the storms come, your house will still stand. Come closer, my beloved. Draw near, not with your feet, but with your trust, and let me whisper into the depths of your soul. You are loved, not because of your achievements, not because of the talents you possess, but because you are my child. My love does not place on your shoulders the burden of being enough, but rather wraps you in a cloak, even when you have nothing to offer. When others overlook you, I see every small act of faithfulness. When they abandon you, I hold you even tighter. And when you feel like you're merely enduring, I remind you, you were not sent just to survive. You were sent to shift the very atmosphere, to influence the unseen current where you stand. You are the salt in a bland generation, a light in a place where right and wrong have been reversed. And when you walk into spaces filled with envy, do not bring reaction, bring truth. Not truth to argue, but truth to embody. truth lived out in quiet consistency requiring no defense. When slander is cast upon you, you need not respond with noise. Let your silence filled with the Spirit be the loudest answer. When others strive for position, rest in the place I have given you, for what comes from me cannot be stolen. And where fear reigns, be the one who carries faith, not the shallow kind shouted before crowds, but the kind that stands firm in secret, unseen by all but me. I have sent you as a small flame, not to burn everything down, but to warm cold hearts, to illuminate places of doubt, to stir within others. The question: could there still be true holiness in this world? You do not need to be the best, only faithful. And if you keep walking, keep sowing peace where there is chaos, forgiveness where there is bitterness, humility where there is pride, you will not only endure, you will leave a mark. Sacred footprints, not on sand, but in the hearts of men. I know every place you've walked, every time you held back words when you could have struck back, every night you wondered, was it worth it? I record it all. Not a single tear of yours is wasted. Not a single moment of endurance is forgotten. I will repay not with fleeting possessions, but with a kingdom unshakable. You are the remnant, but not the weak. You are the one who still hears my voice amid the noise. And for that reason I will keep you. Do not fear, do not tremble. Just walk each small step, a great act of obedience. I am there before you, beside you, and behind you, guarding your home, lifting your soul and preparing a reward. Your eyes have not seen, your ears have not heard, and your heart has never imagined. My beloved child, in the midst of all the noise of countless voices pulling you into arguments, into doubt, into self-defense, I call you into stillness. Not the stillness of weakness, but the stillness of power. Not retreating in fear, but walking forward with the certainty that you are placed by a God who never loses. You are not like them. You were not shaped from the same mold. Not because you are better, but because you were redeemed at a price beyond measure, the price of my blood. You bear a mark that cannot be erased, the mark of the one who chose you among millions to do what others could not. And if you remain in me, if your roots draw life from my presence and not the approval of man, then no scheme of darkness can uproot what I have spoken over your life. The enemy may scream, the world may gossip, people may walk away, but you will still stand because I am your foundation. What I have spoken is not emotion, it is life. It is a decree signed with heaven's authority, and not one word of it will return void. So walk forward, not to prove your strength, not to reclaim honor taken by others, not to retaliate with success. Walk to reveal me, the one who lives within you, who chose you to reflect himself in this generation. As you walk, let the gentleness in your eyes soften hearts. Let your words carry the fragrance of heaven. Let the presence you bring be so full that others sense me, even when you don't speak. My child, I remain silently by your side, not to scrutinize each breath or every step you take, but so that my heart may reach into those empty spaces where you think you are most alone. There are times when you collapse, believing you have no strength left to rise again, and it is precisely then that my hand has already reached out steady and gentle to keep you from falling into the abyss of despair. I see the times you try to conceal sorrow with a forced smile, and the glimmer in your eyes you attempt to hide from others. I do not reproach you, nor do I require you to appear strong before me, for I know that deep inside you are simply searching for a place to lean on, a space where tears are not despised, and an embrace wide enough to hold the wounds of your elebe, soul. And my child, that place has always been with me, never foreign, never changing. You may sometimes feel abandoned in the chaos of life, surrounded by hollow laughter, judgmental eyes, and burdensome expectations. But do not forget, in every moment you think you have been forgotten, I still whisper in the wind, still kindle a spark of hope in the midst of darkness. I do not force you to follow a predetermined path. I give you freedom to choose. Yet among countless crossroads I remain standing as an eternal landmark, so that when you grow weary and return, you will never find yourself lost. I know every longing left unspoken, every dream you fear to reveal, and even the cracks within your soul that no one can touch but me. That is why I walk with you patiently. When you stumble, I am your support. When you face bewildering trials, I am your lamp, and when you fall, I am the hand reaching out. Do not fear when you see the darkness ahead, for I am the light that continues to guide you. Do not be ashamed of your imperfections, for in my eyes you are still a masterpiece. I do not see you through the lens of success or failure. I see you through the eyes of love. Love that does not change, that does not fade, that is not bound by external measures. You may tremble, you may lose direction, you may wander in the current of life, but do not forget that there is still a heartbeat that beats in rhythm with yours, still a presence, quiet yet steadfast, like breath itself, like the morning sun, like the ceaseless waves upon the shore. I am that constancy. You may wonder, why do you not shield me from pain? Why do you allow me to face trials? My child, without hardships, you would never discover the hidden strength within yourself. Without the darkness, you would never truly grasp the worth of light. I do not wish for you to be crushed, but I do desire for you to grow, to learn how to stand firm even when the storm rages around you. For I did not create you merely to exist in safety, but to shine in the darkest places. You are not just one who passes through this life, but one called to leave a mark, to bring love and life to souls that hunger. And when you are tired, I will sustain you. When you are weak, I will strengthen you. When you lose faith, I will rekindle hope. Believe that not a single tear of yours falls unseen by me. Not a single sigh escapes without my hearing it. I hold them all close like treasures of great worth, for to me every moment of your life bears meaning. I am never indifferent to your hidden pain, nor do I ignore your smallest desires. Even when you feel your prayers fall into silence, know that I have heard them before your lips could speak. Quietly I prepare, not in the way you expect, but in ways that will astonish you at the appointed time. For my love is not only comfort, but wise arrangement, leading you into goodness. My child, I do not promise that you will never weep, but I promise that your tears will never be wasted. I do not promise that you will never stumble, but I assure you that every fall will become a priceless lesson. I do not promise that the world will always embrace you, but I guarantee that you will never be alone, for I am always there. When the world turns away, my arms remain open. When every path closes, I open a way. When doors are slammed shut, I am the key. Do not think I watch you only to judge. I am here to love, to forgive, to heal, and to continue writing your story with you. So, my child, step forward. Even if you feel small, remember that you are wrapped in a boundless love. Even if you feel weak, know that an unseen strength upholds you. Even if you feel afraid, trust that a hand still holds you fast, and wherever you go, I will never depart from you. For the love I have for you is not measured by success or failure, but by you yourself, my beloved child, whom I will never forsake. My child, I too am watching them, the ones who harbor intentions to bring you down, those who do not hesitate to scatter thorns along your path, hoping to see you stumble. But my child, my gaze does not stop at exposing their wrongdoing, nor is it to find reason to destroy. I look at them with a pain deep and unrelenting, with a longing that never ceases, for in my heart I have never stopped desiring that even those who cause suffering might yet find the way back to love. I am the Father, and there is not a single child I wish to lose. To me, even those raising their hands to harm you still bear the imprint I placed upon them when I gave them life. That is why I do not turn away as though they were invisible, nor abandon them to the darkness, because I know that if they would receive the light, their hearts too could be transformed. You may ask, why do you not intervene at once? Why do you not swiftly sweep away evil so it has no chance to harm my child? My heart aches in ways beyond your imagining, yet I remain patient. Patient not because they deserve mercy, but because my love has never rested upon worthiness. If my love were only for the good, only for those flawless, it would cease to be unconditional. Because I am the Father, I love even the hardened, the scarred souls, the hearts locked shut. I wait with patience that they might still open, that a single ray of light might enter the darkest places within. But my child, you must also understand this patience is not without end. It is not a door forever open, never closing. Time itself is finite, and mercy will one day be fulfilled. A day will come when light breaks forth like the blazing dawn, when nothing can cover it, and the boundary will be revealed who belongs to the light and who clings to the dark. My child, I know you ache at times seeing injustice endure, seeing the wicked smile with ease while you struggle beneath wounds. I hear the whispered cries through your tears. Father, why do they harm me and remain untroubled? Why is evil not struck down at once, beloved? What you perceive as unfair delay is in truth proof of mercy. For if my justice fell immediately, none of humanity could stand. But because I love, I am slow to anger. Because I long to save, I restrain my hand. I grant time for reflection, for change, for a return to the path. Yet I do not forget the faithful who suffer wounds. Every pain is noted, every injustice recorded, and on the appointed day I will bring forth the light, so nothing remains hidden. Can you picture the coming of dawn, when the night is thick, seemingly endless, yet the smallest streak of light at the horizon is enough to shatter the dark and announce the day? So too is my patience like the stillness of night, giving all a chance to return. But when dawn arrives, the light will pour forth, shadows will vanish, and truth will be revealed. In that hour, no one will linger in between. No one will remain half in darkness, half in light. Humanity must choose to walk in the light or to cling to the dark, and it is that choice which will determine their destiny. My child, I do not desire the destruction of anyone. Each time a soul turns forever from the light, my heart aches as a father losing a child. You cannot fathom the depth of that sorrow, it surpasses all human thought. Yet I endure it, for I cannot cease to love. Even those who wound you, even those who sow evil, I still extend my arms in invitation. And I long for you to learn this same heart, not to excuse wickedness, but to see that behind every cruel act lies a lost soul longing for light to heal them. You may struggle, you may feel it unjust, that I still grant them chances. But remember, you too once needed my mercy. You too have been forgiven when astray, received when unworthy. Therefore let your heart be widened, so hatred does not consume you, so you do not become like them. Remain in the light, do not let their darkness dim the brightness within you. Let my patience and my love flow through you, that you may be protected and also become a light for others. But my child, I must say again, mercy does not last forever. That day will surely come, as morning cannot be stopped, as dawn never fails to break. My light will come radiant and irresistible. Then falsehood will be stripped away, deeds done in darkness will be exposed. Those who embrace the light will live, those who cling to the darkness will meet the consequence of their own choice. I will not need to destroy, for the darkness they hold on to will consume them. I need only let the light flood in, and truth itself will divide. My child, take courage. Do not fear when evil seems to prevail for a time. Do not tremble when the wicked laugh aloud, for it is only fleeting in the span of eternity. The final word belongs to the light. The final victory belongs to life. Remember, you never walk alone, and know that I do not only see you, I also see those who oppose. I love you, but I also long for them to be saved. And when the hour comes, everything will be revealed, every boundary made plain, and the light will triumph. This is certain, and nothing can prevent it. My beloved child, that is why I say to you, be light amid the countless shadows pressing in around you. Do not wait for the world to be cleansed of darkness before you shine, nor wait until envy ceases before you bring forth love. Light was born to shine in the night, and even the smallest spark is enough to make the darkness tremble. I do not call you to be a great light that dazzles the nations, but a small lamp that never goes out, a quiet flame that endures, so that anyone wandering in despair may find hope. My child, when others are envious, when they wish to see you collapse beneath the weight of comparison, smile and hold fast to joy. That joy is not born from applause or praise, but from knowing you are loved unconditionally. And that joy no one can steal from you, no one can defile. When hatred is given, do not repay with hatred. Hatred is like a burning coal. The tighter you grasp it, the more it sears your own hand. Do not clutch that fire. Replace it with love. Love is not weakness, but the greatest strength. When you choose to love, you are not bowing in defeat. You are standing firm before the flood of darkness, declaring to the world that evil cannot consume you. When you are slandered, when false stories are raised to smear, you do not despair in frantic self-defense. Live uprightly in truth. Truth is like a clear mirror. It may be clouded by dust for a time, but if you guard it patiently, the day will come when light reflects again, and falsehood cannot endure. My child, light never argues with darkness. It does not need to debate nor prove itself right. It need only appear, and the darkness vanishes on its own. In the same way, love does not need loud defense. It need only be expressed in steadfastness, in tireless acts, in gentle yet unwavering words. When the world shouts in chaos, let my love within you be the answer. When hearts are locked shut, you be the sweetness that opens the door. Be my love among hardened hearts, among eyes that know only suspicion. Be the living witness that true love still exists, still holds power to transform. Be my holiness in a generation that celebrates error, that makes deceit the standard, that calls evil normal. Do not tremble when you feel alone, for holiness is not measured by the crowd but by faithfulness. Stand firm, for just a pinch of salt is enough to preserve the whole pot. Just one ray of light is enough to shatter the thickest night. Be my voice, but not in loud shouting among the clamor of the marketplace. Be the gentle whisper of truth, small yet clear, humble yet piercing, so that the thirsty may recognize it. Do not waste yourself in quarrels. Do not strive to drown out the noise. Simply remain faithful in expressing truth, and I will use it as a seed planted in the hearts of men. It may lie hidden in the soil, seeming useless, but in its time it will sprout, bear fruit, and spread life. My beloved, you are not only carrying a message, you are the message. People will look at you, at the way you live, the way you love, the way you forgive, and through you, they will know who I am. You may never speak a word, yet the light within you will shine, and the love within you will resound. A message is not merely spoken from the lips. It must flow through every step, every glance, every choice. You are the living letter I send to the world, not written in ink, but inscribed with the presence of love. Do not despise the small things done in silence. Do not think that only when the crowd notices are your deeds worthwhile. It is the small acts, the quiet words, the faithful choices that etch themselves deeply into the hearts of others. True light is not boastful brilliance, but steady radiance, still burning in secret, still shining even when unnoticed. Become that kind of light. And when you are weary, when you think you have no strength to keep shining, remember that I am the inexhaustible source. You do not need to shine by yourself. You need only remain in me, and my light will flow through you. You are the lamp, I am the flame. You are the vessel, I am the living water. As long as you remain in me, you will not run dry, you will not fade. My child, the world will test you, mock you, and try to convince you that light has no place. But do not let that cause you to falter, for a candle in the night is more visible than ever. And so it is when the world is engulfed in darkness, the light you bear becomes all the more precious. And I promise you, the day will come when light fills all things. Then you will see that every drop of sweat, every tear, every choice to love was never in vain. So walk on, my beloved, with courage. Choose joy when you are envied. Choose love when you are despised. Choose truth when you are slandered. For you are not living only for yourself. You are a witness to my love. You are not merely a bearer of words. You are the word written in a life. And you will see through the light you keep and the love you give, many hearts will be touched and many lives will be changed. My child, the time is near. Do not think that these days will last forever, nor assume that the world will remain as it is. A new season is approaching, and when it opens, all that is not founded in me will not endure. The things men have built by their own schemes, by pride and selfish ambition, will scatter like ashes before the strong wind of truth. Envy will no longer stand, for in my light there is no room for petty comparisons or shallow calculations. Deceit once hidden in darkness will be fully exposed. Every false word, every act of concealment will be stripped bare, so all may see their true nature. And hatred, the poison that has gnawed at human souls for generations, will vanish in my presence like morning mist dissolved by the rising sun. You see, the kingdoms of men, no matter how splendid, no matter how crafted with intellect and power, will ultimately tremble. They are like castles built upon sand, beautiful to the eye, yet unable to withstand the storm. When the winds of the new season blow, what is fragile will collapse, what is false will be laid waste. But the kingdom I establish is different. It is not built on power nor founded on limited wisdom, but upon my very self, the rock unshakable, the eternal foundation. This kingdom is not raised up for display, nor made to serve the glory of one alone, but so that my glory may shine everywhere, and humanity may find true rest. And my child, whoever builds their life upon this rock will stand firm, though storms roar and heavens shake. When that day comes, the boundary will be clearer than ever before. No longer vague ideas, no longer blurred lines. Only what is built upon the solid rock will remain. Not talent for talent, however, brilliant fades with time. Not fame for fame is but an echo, loud today, gone tomorrow. Not ambition for ambition is like morning dew vanishing at sunrise. The only things that endure are love, obedience, and faithfulness. Love that flows not from compulsion, but from a heart bound closely to me. Obedience that is not mere hearing and doing, but trust, surrender, and the readiness to step forward even when the path is unseen, and faithfulness, that unchanging perseverance, steadfast through every trial. Remember, my child, I do not measure you by success, nor weigh you by numbers, nor value you according to worldly standards. What I seek within your heart is sincere love for me and for those around you. When you choose love instead of hatred, you lay down a stone that will endure. When you choose honesty over deceit, you secure a foundation that cannot be shaken. When you choose obedience, even at the cost of your own will, you build walls that will not fall. Every small act born of love and faithfulness becomes part of the structure that stands within me. And on that day, that work will not only endure, but will shine with brilliance, so that all may behold my glory. You may see others chasing talent, fame, and ambition. They believe these to be solid ground, but do not be drawn in. Talent, though valuable, is only a temporary gift. Fame, though celebrated, is but an empty echo. Ambition, though glittering, is a coat of paint that fades away. You choose another way, the way of love, obedience, and faithfulness. It may be a narrow path lined with thorns, but it is the only way that leads to life everlasting. My child, the new season is coming, and I want you to prepare. Look closely at what you are building your life upon. If it is sand, if it rests on fleeting success or the praise of men, then shift your foundation while there is still time. Place it upon the rock, upon me, upon the unchanging truth. Do so, and no storm will bring you down, no trial will overthrow you. Even if the world shakes, your soul will remain in peace, anchored to the solid foundation. My beloved, I tell you beforehand, so you will not be surprised. When the new season opens, the dividing line will be sharp. No one will stand in between. Falsehood will no longer have ground. Hatred will no longer have cause. Every pretense will fall like crumbling walls, and only true love will shine. I do not want you swept into that collapse, so I call you to build now, to remain steadfast in even the smallest choices. Let your life be a testimony of my unshakable strength, that others may look upon you and long for the same foundation. And my child, do not fear when tremors come. Do not be anxious when what was familiar is overturned. Remember, the new season is not to destroy you, but to purify, to strip away what is unnecessary, to preserve what is pure. The new season is your chance to grow, to endure, to witness my love and my faithfulness that never change. Rejoice, for in the shaking you will discover your true foundation. And as you stand firm, you will be a light for many others, guiding them to the rock that never fails. My child, the new season is at hand. Do not shrink back, do not delay. Prepare your heart. Leave behind what cannot last. Hold fast to love, obedience, and faithfulness. For these are what I seek in you, and these are the keys by which you will stand in every trial. The day is near, and you will see all that is built upon me will remain forever. My child, therefore I call you to choose my way. That way is not wide nor filled with praises and applause. It is narrow, lonely, rugged, and full of trials. Yet it is the very path that leads to true life, the way that brings you into eternal rest. You will see other paths that appear easier, broader, more crowded, resounding with laughter. But my child, those paths lead only to emptiness opening into fragile ends. My way, though narrow, is steadfast. Though quiet, it is filled with my presence. Though it requires sacrifice, it overflows with joy that no one can take away. Walk on, even if it means dying to yourself each day. Die to pride so you may walk in humility. Die to selfish desires so you may truly love. Die to your own will so you may fulfill mine. My way is not for those who seek only to indulge themselves, but for those willing to place me above all else. I know it is not easy. I know there will be days when you doubt, when you ask yourself, Father, have I chosen the wrong road? Is this path truly worth it? But my child, in the very moment you feel weary, I am near to strengthen you. Do not fear when others fail to understand. Do not be troubled when the world mocks, when they say you are foolish for choosing surrender over possession, sacrifice over gain. Remember that truth has never been welcomed by the majority, and light has never been embraced by darkness. But you do not need the world's approval. You need only my companionship. Believe that though everything around you changes, I do not. I am the Eternal One, unchanging, yesterday, today, and forever. In a shifting world, I remain the only solid ground. You may not see the future clearly. You may walk through haze, seeing only a few steps ahead. But know this, I am already there waiting for you at the end of the road. You do not need to know every detail, you only need to know that I am there. And is that not enough, my child? For what matters is not what you see, but with whom you walk, and you walk with me. Hold this as a precious treasure in your heart. I am with you. Do not let anything steal this truth from you. My presence is not determined by feelings. Even when you feel empty, I am there. Even when you feel alone, I am beside you. Even when you feel weak, I uphold you. Even when you feel like a failure, I still call you my beloved child. My child, this path will hold tears, but also joy. It will require sacrifice, but also bring eternal reward. It will involve loss, but also fullness beyond compare. Walk with the faith that every step you take is not in vain. Every sacrifice you make is noted by me. Every tear you shed is wiped by my hand. And every time you choose me instead of yourself, heaven remembers. Be steadfast, beloved one. Do not let the world's noise distract you. Do not let mockery cause you to falter. Do not let doubt within lead you to give up. Remember this, I chose you before you chose me. I loved you before you knew love, and I will be with you until the very end. So walk on, walk in my will, even if you cannot yet see the full picture. For in my hands that picture is already complete, more beautiful and glorious than you imagine. You need only be faithful with the small portion before you. Trust that I have prepared all things and that I always go before you. When you step into places you have never been, know that I am already there waiting. Therefore do not fear, do not hesitate. Keep this word as a precious jewel, engraved deep within your heart and woven into every thought. I am with you. And that truth alone is enough to carry you to the end, enough to help you overcome every trial. Enough to keep you steadfast in faith until the finish. Not a single breath you take escapes my notice. Not a single tear goes unrecorded. Not one battle must you fight alone. I see it all, from the sorrow you bury in silence to the small joys you're afraid to share. I miss nothing. And in the end, no matter what happens, no matter who stands with you or against you, I am the one who always prevails. Now go, my child, not with fear but with strength from the Holy Spirit. Not with eyes confused, but with eyes fixed on me. Not to gain the world's recognition, but so that I may be glorified through your life. Walk not trembling, not shrinking back, and even if the path ahead is unclear, go forward. For where you go, I go with you, and where you stand, I will be the unshakable foundation beneath your feet. Now come close to me. Open your heart, hold nothing back. Offer up to me a prayer from the deepest place of your soul, a place without pretense, without masks, where only truth and love remain. Almighty God, my steadfast refuge, I come before you with a bare soul, bringing nothing but the longing to cling to your light in a world torn by envy and brokenness. I do not ask you to remove every hardship, but to teach me how to stand firm in the midst of trembling. When I am misunderstood, when lies surround me, when the envy of others wounds me, remind me that you are the one who sees it all. Pour into me the patience to love instead of retaliate, the discernment to recognize your voice amidst the noise, and the strength to forgive when I am deeply hurt. Keep me faithful not only in outward deeds, but in the secret thoughts of my heart, O Lord righteous. One who hides me under the shadow of your wings, grant me a heart soft enough to love even after being wounded. Grant me spiritual wisdom that I may not become hardened by the envy that surrounds me. I know silence does not mean you are absent. I know slander cannot touch what you have consecrated. So use even the things that seem to harm me, to shape me, to correct me, and to glorify your name. Let me never forget light needs no defense, it only needs to shine. Holy Spirit, living breath within me, rekindle in me the fire I thought had gone out. There are days I carry silent weariness unseen by others, but you see it. Renew my courage. Teach me when to be silent, when to speak, how to love rightly, and whom to forgive. Grant me grace to guard my house both in spirit and in speech, against every intrusion of bitterness, pride, and doubt. Cleanse me with the fire of your love. Lord, my true dwelling place when I feel lost even among the community of faith, when honesty is disregarded and pretense is praised, do not let my heart close. Give me a love greater than betrayal, a steadfastness greater than hurt, and clarity greater than flattery. I do not want to grow cold. I want to grow more like you. Please do that work in me. O God of generations, the author of my legacy, help me see beyond present emotions to the greater work you are building through my pain. Grant me spiritual eyes not to be dragged down by words, not to be slowed by judging stares. Give me joy unbound by circumstance and peace untouched by the emotions of others. Please continue writing my story with your kindness and faithfulness. Lord, I thank you for your silent protection. There were so many times I thought I had been abandoned, but in truth I was being hidden. When I was not invited into the rooms I desired, it was you shielding me from harm. When others turned away, you drew closer. I am grateful for your quiet care. It is unassuming yet full of power. Thank you that even in what I do not understand, you still act in love. Father, I thank you for choosing me among so many, not because I was better, but because you saw a heart that could be shaped. Thank you for not leaving me behind on the journey, even when I felt like giving up. I'm grateful that every wound I've endured is being used by you to build something better. Thank you that not one accusation can touch what you have sanctified. And thank you that I get to be a witness of your faithfulness. Merciful Father, I thank you that you have never withdrawn your presence. I have made mistakes, doubted, and trembled, but you did not retreat. You stayed, you waited, and you patiently taught me with a gentleness full of strength. I thank you for not giving up on me when others did. Thank you for showing me that light is not always blinding, but it is always present in silence, in forgiveness, in unseen faithfulness. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so we can grow a strong faith community together.